Today is Wednesday, the 31st of March, 2021. This is a video for Health One users about the Covid vaccination and finding Group 4A patients. So I'm going to demonstrate how we can find our patients with the HbA1c greater than 58, patients who have a BMI of greater than 40, and patients with chronic respiratory disease. Now, it's quite difficult to find patients with respiratory disease on home oxygen and hospital admissions, etc. So I'm just going to give you a list of all your COPD patients between the ages of 18 and 64. These are all related only to patients between 18 and 64. For the purposes of this exercise, I'm skipping the Prader-Willi syndrome. They're easy to find if you have some. So in Health One, we have distributed today a new set of database or query plus analyses, which you'll get by clicking on this little button here. And if you go down to the end of it, after you've done a live update, you should find in the Health One analyses, which are the kind of hard-coded analyses that you can't change, you will find a series of analyses in here under Covid Vac Cohort 4. As you can see here, we have one for patients who've got a HbA1c of greater than 58, age 18 to 64. We've got one for a BMI of greater than 40 with the same age group. I also inserted here an analysis which gives everybody who has a weight greater than 114 kilograms, because you may not have recorded the BMI in many of your patients. And a lot of patients over 114 kilos will actually have a BMI of greater than 40, obviously depending on their height. But it's just an indication of where your patients are. Here I have a list of patients with COPD, and I'm only picking patients who've been seen in the past 3 years. So this analysis will be available to you from today, provided Health One has been updated, and it will be updated automatically over the coming days. But if you click on Help and Web Update, then this will automatically download these analyses for you. We get this error message sometimes. So I'm now going to show you more about this. So if we go down here, we can run any of these analyses, the Cohort 4 analyses. Let's say we run this one, a list of HbA1cs greater than 58. And with this result, you'll see the report will give a list of patients whose last HbA1c was greater than 58. And you'll see that we have 42 patients in this list. I'll now run one of the other analyses. Let's say we go down again, and we run the BMI greater than 40. So we'll double click on it and run it. It takes a couple of seconds for it to be completed. And in this case, we have a list of patients whose last BMI was greater than 40, again 18 to 64, and we have a list of 85 patients here. Now, rather than going through each one of these analyses separately and counting up the names of the people, we have grouped these analyses into an execution group, all of them. So if you just highlight any one of these analyses and click on Excel and Covid Vac Cohort 4, then Health One will run every single one of these analyses for you and produce a nice Excel spreadsheet with a summary of your numbers as well as the names of every individual. This takes a few minutes to run. And in the end, you will end up with a spreadsheet like this with a summary sheet. And here we will have the names of all the patients who have a high HbA1c. And in this tab, a list of those patients with a BMI of greater than 40, etc. You've got a list of everything there. But the first thing you'll get is a summary. Now, the percentages are irrelevant, actually, because they don't work in this case. But in this case, as you can see here, we have 42 plus 85 plus 84 plus 21, which is a total of 232 patients in our practice which fit these criteria. Now you obviously have to go through these patients and decide for yourself. So, in summary, we have today included in Health 1 a new series of analyses which will be found here in this button called Database Analyses or Query Plus. At the very end of that we have things called Health 1 Analyses, and this you will find after you do a web update, COVID vaccine, Cohort 4. You can run any of these individually, or you can run them all together by simply clicking on one of them and going to Excel COVID Vac Cohort 4. And this will give you your numbers and a rough estimate of what you have got in your practice. Remember that you must update Health 1 by help and web update, or it'll happen automatically over the next few days. So, the COVID vaccination group 4A is patients with diabetes and a HbA1c of greater than 58, obesity, patients with a BMI of greater than 40, chronic respiratory disease, and here we're taking all patients with COPD between 18 and 64. We're not including the Prader-Willi syndrome in this particular analysis. That's the end of this recording. Thank you.